I've always been a project person. Some projects go really well, and some are just plain awful, just a slog shortly after starting. This sign project was just plain fun from start to finish. So I'll show you a little bit about the process and make this a longer video. Just be fun to sit back and watch and enjoy the satisfaction that comes from completing a good project. I started off in Adobe Illustrator designing the sign. I took a picture of the building, pulled that into Illustrator, pulled the logo in, and set to work coming up with the layout. Once I had that layout, I printed it off and took it down to the building office to talk with the building inspector so that I could get a permit for making the sign. With that sign approved, I set to work in Fusion 360, modeling the various pieces in the way that I was planning on constructing it. For this sign, I decided to make it out of 4 layers of a PVC foam trim, AZEK trim. And basically what I decided to do was to attach the bottom 3 layers directly to the building with some combination of adhesive and screws, and then to attach that top layer without any screws, just using a micro pinner and some more adhesive. I used Big Stretch Caulk, which seemed to adhere really well. So I set to work laying this out in Fusion 360 and generating the cutting programs for the CNC machine. With the cutting programs ready to go, I got to work. Started off by drilling all of the holes that were going to be used to attach the sign to the building itself, and then I went through and put screws in those holes just so that I was sure that everything would stay down on the spoil board without moving, because I didn't buy too much extra here. The layout worked out pretty perfectly to get 1 layer per 4x8 sheet. And with that, it was just a matter of cutting out each of the sheets. So the bottom black layer is inset about 1/4 inch all the way around, and that makes it so that the white layers and what we're going to paint green will stand out and provide a nice real shadow. The cuts were super smooth, didn't require any finishing, so I basically unscrewed them from the spoil board here, and they were ready to install. With the final cutting programs done and all the parts pulled off the machine, it was time to make sure I had everything before heading over to the new building. Luckily, the cutting programs all went very smoothly, and I had everything, including a few extra fun little drop-offs. Once I got to the new place, the task was to get out the scissor lift and put the template up on the building. I decided to cut a template out of 1/8 inch masonite scrap I had laying around to make the alignment of the letters super easy. With the templates in place, it was time to start putting the letters on and make sure that everything was going to work as expected. So I started with the P and put some screws in, put some caulk on the back side, put it up on the building, and realized that my screws were not going to hold very well going into this ephes. I thought they might hold a little bit, but really there was just no bite. So changed plans a little bit and started to essentially glue the letters on with the screws to just provide that initial tack and shear strength to keep them from falling straight down. Once I knew the mounting mechanism was going to work pretty well, it was time for tacos. So I hopped on the motorcycle and went to the local taco truck, but funny enough, I ran into my family there who were also thinking tacos were the right thing for the day, and so I came back while they waited for our order to be done and got a head start on a few more letters. Full disclosure, I may or may not have planted a little seed in my boys' minds that morning about getting some tacos for lunch, and it worked. It was fun. So they brought tacos, and they were delicious. Then they decided to stay and help for just a little bit. And, there was a little apprehension over the height of the scissor lift at first, but they got over that, and in the end, I think they had a good time, and I appreciated at least a little bit of help. Can you go up farther? Oh yeah.
Dad, would this fold over if you're leaning back on that way?
No.
Of course. letters should be attached to the top. I thought they were attached right there. But they're attached down there.
But after a couple letters, they thought it was time to head home. So I carried on setting the rest of the letters. You know, the process had been pretty smooth up to this point, but right now it was time to take off the template, and that did not go as expected. Basically, I ended up having to break all of the masonite chunks off and just pull them off kind of one by one, free up the letters individually. There just was not enough tolerance to get them out around the edges of the letters as I had hoped. After breaking away the template, it was a matter of adhering the top layer of the letters and kind of temporarily affixing them with the micropinner. This process went really well. It was easy. I expect it to hold up pretty well. I don't know if there are going to be little rust drips that kind of form from the places that the micropinner put the pin in, but you know, it's pretty high up here. I don't think anybody will notice even if that does happen. And then I made another dumb mistake. I can't get away with, you know, a completely flawless project. You see that coming up right about here. Basically, I started talking to somebody on the ground and kind of lost track of what I was doing. On the second to last letter that I was putting on, I you know, put the caulk on the top of the letter. Thought I had it pretty good. Let's see, just add a few more little dabs here and there. And then I went to put on this letter. Yeah, it looks nice, it's clean. Oh shit. Fortunately, it wasn't that big of a mistake. It's just frustrating. It's so dumb. But, you know, I used to work with somebody that said the sign of a professional isn't whether you make a mistake, but it's how long it takes you to fix it. And this one just took a couple minutes to wipe off the excess and put it right back in place like it was supposed to be the first time around. So, just kept on chugging. All that was left was a few of the green ones, and those went without a hitch. No dumb mistakes this time. Then it was time to put the toys away, or the tools away. Sorry, the tools away. I always find this to be a relaxing part of the project. You've got everything sort of cleaned up, buttoned up, ready to drive back, in this case, into the shop, hang the tools on the wall, empty the trash can, and call it a day. So just a relaxing, slow drive, admiring your work on the way. It's a good way to end the day. That's it, all done. One last glance on the way out, but satisfactory project. Time to move on to the next one.